because this is YouTube, the first section of the epic video is going to be about me. I know that's not you, but that is me. When it says you, it means me. In the title, when you upload a YouTube video, it means it's going to be about you, which would be me if you were you, if that makes sense. Anyway, let's get on with things. Body modification seems to be all the rage at the moment. Every time you go online and
read the news or watch some other YouTubers having a waffle about something,
you know, and body modification seems to be something that a lot of people have a very strong opinion about. Well, I mean, I was just reading today a lady's just given birth to a child after the very first womb transplant. And that's quite a novel and exciting way that society is progressing. Meanwhile, at the same time, there's another news article about a trans pool player who is suing her pool organisation because they don't want her to compete in the ladies' events. And that's just sort of how our society is trying to grapple with this whole concept of body modification, which has been going on progressively, you know, probably since the beginning of time.
All the way back to, you know, just chopping somebody's leg off so they don't get the plague or whatever it is that chopping legs off prevented, gangrene or whatever, you know. So
it's quite a daunting topic to, you know, decide whether you're the kind of person who yourself wants to partake in any body modification, and what are the social and moral implications of that. Where we used to see the most controversy, you know, before
the trans issue sort of started dominating the scene,
was that of plastic surgery. There was a time a while back when the concept of plastic surgery was something to be looked down on. If somebody had some plastic surgery, it was a bit of a laugh, a bit of a joke, you know, with the fake boobs and all that kind of thing, and the tummy tucks and the old, you know, liftings. And these cheekbones, it's sort of like the facial version of saggy tits. It's just an unavoidable part of life. And just like with saggy tits, you can get it done if you want to. But then I always think, because I'm quite old school and I come from I suppose a social history of mocking people that bother to try and look younger when they're older, I've sort of had this natural worldview that I spent all my life trying to get old. Now I'm old, why would I want to be young? I was just going backwards, you know. It's time to look distinguished. Anyway, no, even if you get it done, it'll just start re-sagging again, you know. So yeah, getting back on track. What I've been interested in over the last few years, now that, generally speaking, plastic surgery has come on in leaps and bounds, and there's a lot of confidence now you can have when you find the right surgeon to have, you know, a procedure you can feel confident with. Medical, you know, small prints that, you know, things can go wrong, anything can happen. You sure you want to do this?
Because when things go wrong, they tend to go very, very wrong. You know, I don't really want to experience that kind of way.
However, the bane of my life has always just been moles.
And I don't mean the fellas in the garden that dig little holes and make little mounds that some people turn into mountains.
I'm talking about skin blemish moles. And moles come in many different forms. But when they're just like these round things, dome-shaped things, or pointing out things or whatever, and they're in the wrong place, you know, that's when it's awkward, isn't it? Like, if you had a mole just like sticking out your nose like this, dangling away, that'd be really irritating, wouldn't it? That's different to like if you just had a brown patch on your neck or something. When I was younger, and I had about 2 or 3 moles that I thought, I don't like that there. It's really irritating. I've got one on my butt cheek. It's like, oh shit. And you like scratch on the mole, and it's like, you know, you're like pulling it off, and it's like, oh shit. And, you know, it'll start bleeding or whatever. And that's one of my irritating moles that, you know, it'd be nice to get rid of one day. But of course, a mole like that is cosmetic. You wouldn't get it done on the NHS, and if you are, then you're ripping off taxpayers, basically. Because you can argue about the psychological impacts of having an annoying mole on your butt, and you could probably make a case of that. If you wanted to kick up enough of a stink, but essentially deep down, that's just like, it's a cosmetic thing. So you got to get it done privately, and having one mole removed isn't actually that cheap. It costs a few £100. You got to think, is a mole on my butt cheek worth a few £100? And I don't have to look at it. It's annoying sometimes. It gets caught on something, whatever, But it's never been annoying enough to be worth a few £100. But a couple of years ago, I finally took the plunge and did pay a few £100 to have a dome mole removed from my forehead, which used to sit right there. And I mean, my parting's on this side, so even though I have hair that like covers my forehead, it was like right in the window, I don't know why I have my parting this side. It's always been that side. I don't know if I have this hairstyle subconsciously because I've always hated that mole. But then if that was the case, then why is the parting on that side and not that side? I don't know the answer to that. Maybe it was a practical joke by my first ever hairdresser, Oh, let's give you a parting. I don't know, who knows? Anyway, as you get older, the annoying thing about moles is they start growing, and you don't know if it's cancerous or if it's just a mole growing, because it can happen in both circumstances. A growing mole can be a sign of cancer, but a growing mole is also a sign of just you're getting old. So this thing was sort of like getting bigger as I got older, and I'd finally had enough of it. So I went for the chop, and I forked out a few £100, womped it off, and it was gone. It's like it was never there, which is awesome. And I've been extremely happy ever since. I've kind of felt like a new person, I suppose, in a very small and very sort of detailed way. So now that I've found myself a surgeon I can be even more confident with, I mean, I've let them have a scrape at my face, for heaven's sakes, I can now get rid of a mole that has been probably the most annoying of all. And how do I put this politely? I mean, what? You want me to draw you a picture? It used to be a flat mole, totally innocuous. Adds a bit of interest to something that's utterly boring, But as I'm getting older, it started growing into a dome mole. I've been wanting to get rid of that, as you can imagine, for quite a long time. And now I got rid of it. And again, I feel freer. I've been freed from a burden. And it's a very minor detail. And it's not really something you could quantify. But it was just very important to me. Should it even be on the NHS? No, probably not.
It's got to draw the line somewhere, and you can't just everybody queuing up, for every year for the latest mole that's gone a bit wonky, and some people get obsessed. They'll be in there every week getting every little mole picked out, all on our money. So no, that can't really work. It's got to be private, really.
But it is undeniable that it has a positive effect. So this one, a few £100, I'd say that was value for money. The one on MIDI, I would say that was worth a few £100, value for money. The one on my butt cheek, that's when I then, you know, I'm classing it like a luxury item if I go for the one on my butt cheek. Whereas the one on my D and the one on my forehead, I don't class it as luxury, I class it as crucial. And it's this kind of very nuanced, careful definitions that I think are very important in life. And you've got to know where to draw the line to have like a balanced approach to your own, you know, mentality, your ability to stay on an even keel mentally with how you appreciate your own appearance, you know, and not get depressed about something, but not be worried if there is something there that you want to get rid of, and it would affect your psychology to get rid of. Go get rid of it. I think this probably works for all forms of body modification, really. It's just how obsessed you want to get with it. Some people, and in this case, it does seem to be more peculiar to the ladies than the blokes. Some ladies get really intently into the whole body modification thing. And, you know, the fake boobs, the fake lips, the nose jobs, and the cheeks, and the crow's feet, and everything. And they do it to such an extreme that they look beautiful, but they look beautiful in a sort of manufactured way. I don't know, I think that's a bit much. I think you've just got to decide what is the...
If you're uncomfortable with how you look, you've got to decide, maybe it's that one thing, little thing, or what it is. You shouldn't be trying to look youthful. You should just be trying, because that's like, you're fighting against an impossible wall. And by trying to look youthful, you're going down a path of non-stop,
forever treatments, you know, because you're not going to stop getting old. You've just got to kind of figure out a way to accept stuff. Don't be extreme about it, you know what I mean? Don't. It's not something that should be obsessed about. That's not how it's beneficial. Plastic surgery, body modification, thumbs up. I think that's humanity progressing in the right direction.